Hey everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute fun fold card. We did one a while ago with the Birthday Bonanza DSP, which was quite old, so in case you haven't heard of that, that was from many years ago. But it was a really fun fold, so it does have a little belly band, but it's a cool card the way it opens. Ooh, I forgot to put my inside in there. Sometimes I don't finish the inside in case I want to add something to it, or I don't really know what sentiment I want to use, but it's a little fun fold card, and this uses the Winterly Nest DSP, which I did talk about recently, and this is online exclusive, I think, so I think we're safe with this one. For now, but it's a really cute card. I did this on a Coastal Cabana base because I thought it really contrasted with the color of the birds. The DSP is 12 by 12. It's very adorable. So we're going to make this. This is really simple. It just uses a thin leftover scrap for the belly band. And then I used a piece of cherry cobbler ink, just a little leftover scrap of ribbon. But it's pretty simple and pretty fun card. The only thing I forgot to measure because I was doing my measurements was the inside. Let me see. I think this is 2 and... Yeah, so the inside measures for the inside panel would be 3 1/4 by 5 3/8, I believe it is. Yeah, 5 3/8. So it's 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. That's what you're going to need for your inside panel. But I will try to put the measurements for everything. Let me just write that down so I don't forget. 3 1/4 by 5 3/8. So that's the inside. But for the rest of this, it's pretty simple. So you're going to use a piece of cardstock. This is a regular standard piece of cardstock. If you were to fold it in half, it would make a regular size card. So this is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. But for this one, what you're going to do is you're going to actually score it at 5/8. I'm sorry, at 3/4 of an inch, 4 1/4, and 7 1/4. But the only thing that's different is that you see it does fold a little differently. So we're going to fold it this way, and then these two pieces fold back. It is very important that you use your bone folder for this, so it's flat. And the other thing that's pretty cool about this card is you could have it open left or right. I just did it this way, but you could really have a unilateral, ambidextrous, I don't know what you want to call it, opening card, but it will open this way. Okay, and then we have 3 pieces of DSP. Now, when we had Card Club the other day, a couple of the ladies did flip this over to have a more wintry card, and they just used this side, which does coordinate very well. But we have 3 pieces of DSP, and I'm going to show you the easiest way to put these down, quite honestly, is if your card were to be flat. So you're going to have one piece here, you're going to have another piece here, and then your final piece is going to go over here. So the measurements for this are, I will show you as we go along. They are all 5 3/8 height. This little piece here measures 5/8 of an inch by 5 3/8. Okay. The other piece that's going to go on top, which will go here, measures 1 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so that'll be like that, like that. And then our final little piece measures 2 7/8 by 5 3/8. So all we're going to do is going to put these on, but I do find that putting them on when they're flat is a little easier. So we're going to put this on, and then we will stamp our sentiment. And we have had a lot of stuff retire recently, which now we no longer have a clearance rack. We have a last chance continuing list, which hopefully will be more updated, which will be great so people know what is and isn't there. But that said, I'm going to actually switch to this side. It is a little bit confusing because we used to call it the clearance rack. Now it's the last chance list. There's online exclusives. There's a lot of balls in the air, and some of them are a little difficult, oops, to keep track of. So the stamp set that I'm using for this, I think is retiring, but I really need to double check. So, but it is Simply Said. It's got some really generic greetings that are really easy to use for lots of different stuff. Okay, and then our last piece is just going to go right here. Just make sure you put it directional. So I believe the tails of the birds are going up in the air a little bit, so I'm going to put that facing up. But it's a pretty easy card to create. And that's it. We do need our inside panel, which I'm just going to slip this in here for now, and I will do something. Another great idea, if you want just a little something, just put a little extra DSP strip on the inside, on one side or the other. Even a nice 1/8 of an inch piece will make it really cute. So that's our finished card, but we still have to do our sentiment. So I have a little extra strip that's left over. This is a 1/4 inch by 8.5. I have a little scrap of cherry cobbler for this portion here, and then a little piece of white for our sentiment. So instead of just a note, maybe I'm going to just do thinking of you, just to switch it up. Pretty sure it should fit on there nicely. And then I'll show you the dies we're going to use to cut this out. I just re-inked my cherry cobbler. That's why it was sitting there. So hopefully it's not too goopy. So we're just going to center this. Oh, looks pretty good. And we are using, where are they? Must have slid them in there already. These are the Spotlight on Nature dies. And just in case, I've said this before, if you're looking for something for one of our food, this really, when it die cuts, looks very similar to a paper plate. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to use, I think this is about the size. Is that right? Yeah, that looks like it. We're going to do that. And then we're going to go up one for the cherry cobbler. And it should fit in there. Yep, so just like that. So I'm going to just die cut those, both of them really quickly. Let's put both of them on here. Still rocking my Big Shot. I did take it apart and clean it because it wasn't completely making contact. I found a video. A lady was a European demonstrator, and her husband actually took it apart and cleaned it. It was really a very good video, and I will say he was very thorough in his details. The only thing that I had a problem with was getting it back together, because it's got a lot of different parts that you're trying to kind of squeeze all in together. So that part was a little dicey, but it still ended up going back together really easily. So I'm going to just pop these little extra pieces out. You know, instead of using my whatever pick tool, I'm just using the little stopper for my glue. And wrapping up the rest of our getting ready for Christmas over here. So excited. It's always so much fun. I just have a little scrap. This is like an iridescent. That's something that probably retired. So I'm going to just snip this off, and I'm going to put it together just using a mini glue dot, and then put it in between. And I'm going to pop this one layer up on a dimensional. So I'm just getting a glue dot and kind of folding it closed. I'm going to grab another glue dot, but I'm also going to put just a little bit of liquid adhesive. So I kind of just made a little loop, just a little scrap piece, nothing fancy. Sorry, my washing machine's going to make some noise. And I'm going to just hold this here. And then I'm going to put, oh, I got a little piece. I'm going to put a little piece of a dimensional above. Man, I am really going through the end of everything. You can tell it's the end of the year. Getting to the end of all of our supplies. It's good though. Get to the end of it, you can get some new stuff. I'm just going to put one in the center. And pop this right on here. Like so. Okay. And then this is going to get glued onto our belly band. Now, for your belly band, the only thing that you really need to take into consideration is you don't want it to be too snug that you can't get it opened and closed, because the person that gets it may or may not really be familiar with how to open a card. So you want to make sure that you leave just a little bit of room so they don't rip it open. So what I tend to do is I usually wrap it around and I adhere it in the front. That way this covers up the seam. So I'm just kind of doing my best. I'm just using my grid back there to make sure this is mostly straight. Oops. So I slide it. So I'm going to put it here like that. Fold this over. And I'm going to just eyeball cut a little piece. And then I'm going to put some, actually I'm going to take a little bit more off because it doesn't need to be that big. Just going to put a little bit of glue right here. And I'm going to press it, but I'm not squeezing in as I do it. So I'm just kind of holding it. Make sure it moves, because you can still adjust it right now if you need to. Slide it down just a smidge. And then the most important thing is when you put your glue on, or if you want to put another dimensional on, only put them in the center. So I'm actually going to go with a dimensional, and I'm going to put one to hold the seam on those two pieces right there. Hopefully you can see that the seam's right there. And I'll just put one on each side, because you don't really need a lot, and it's not huge, so it's not like it's going to be going anywhere crazy. But the only thing to keep in mind is when you use dimensionals, you may need to add an extra ounce of postage on for the post office, just because if it's not machinable, it has to be hand canceled, and apparently that costs extra money. So I'm just going to hold that on there, and then that's it. So this card doesn't stand up when it has the belly band on. However, we'll slide that off. It will stand up once, obviously, you have the inside in. So they can either, you know, hang this little part on the flap there if they wanted to, or hang it on the front. But it's a very pretty card. I really, really love this paper. I'm glad this is something that's going to be sticking around, because it's a really pretty paper. It's great for winter. It's great for people who have winter birthdays. Today is the first day of winter, as a matter of fact, when I'm filming this, and my birthday is in the winter. And it's a really pretty stamp set, and I love the little birds. The birds are just so cute. Here's our original card. I just changed this one piece around there. So I hope you found this useful. It's a simple card if you wanted to make, because you can actually make two of these. So if you had two of these pieces, this is one full sheet of cardstock. Hopefully, let me scoot that up a little bit. Hopefully that makes sense. This is one full entire sheet. So you could score it, cut it in half, and then you can make two cards in a quick amount of time. Cut up your DSP, and it would be really, really nice to brighten someone's day with that. If you'd like to get any of the supplies or anything else, you can shop my online store 24/7. The link is below in the description box. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment. I love to hear from all of you if you have a suggestion on something you'd like to see done with a card or a paper or a technique or something specific like that. And free ways to support me: like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you send this with a friend, and if you have time, hit the thumbs up, and you can give me a little comment there as well. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Take care.